What's up, everybody? We're running out of time. Yes, this is the third video I've been working on today. Not finished, working on. It's late and it's raining. Not heavily. But yes, this is the final stretch. We really need to get this BMW back together. Between this, the Yukon, which isn't there yet, we have a lot of work that still needs to be done. And the front end of this has to be on the car if I intend to race it. We gotta get that back on and do a couple more things. But first, we're gonna need some light.
Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna get all of this done tonight. I mean, it's late, like I said, but I've just run out of time, so I've got to film this tonight. And if it suddenly turns into daytime, then you know the answer. So it's time to start putting stuff back together. The first step that we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to reconnect this little bracket to this using these screws here. And then we're going to start getting the front end on, but there's some stuff we're going to do with the front end. So let me do this and then we'll talk about that.
Just to get it out of the way so I have room to work here. Put this little guy back on with its two little 8mm bolts here.
So here is our radiator bracket, the thing that holds that all together, and is more or less the front end with the crash bar and everything. Now the reason we're not just taking this and slapping it back on right now is because, like I had mentioned in the video where we took this out, putting it back in is going to be a little bit of a weight reduction process. The big thing that we're going to be taking out, this guy right here, is the fan for the AC condenser, and we no longer need it. It has these bolts right here. I don't remember what size they are, but I'll throw it up on screen when I take them off. It's got 4 of these, one there, and then one kind of there, and one kind of there, more or less, that allows that to come off. Problem is, this big old plastic shroud here is in the way. That isn't too big of a problem, though. So in order to take off this plastic shroud, there's actually these little clips right there. You can barely see one, and there's actually 2. There's another one down that way, and then there's 2 on that side. And those are those types of clips where you just pull it up with a tool, and then you're able to pop the whole thing out. I'm gonna go ahead and do all those. It's kind of hard to see on camera just because I can't really get it in there. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull all those off, and then we're gonna go ahead and pull out our unnecessary auxiliary fan. Okay, with the fan removed, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stick it back on the car. Get it secured down, but not fully, just partially. I am putting this back on there, but the reason we're gonna go ahead and secure it back onto the car first is because I feel like that's gonna be easier to put on once this is back on the car. Now, I've only attached these upper bolts because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. The reason I'm taking this slow is because some of you might remember this is our hood pin. If we don't reconnect this and then we shut the hood, we're going to be in trouble. So the very first thing I'm going to do, and everyone should do after putting this bracket back on, is reconnect the hood latch. Otherwise you might be in trouble later and having to figure something out. Now with our hood latch safely reattached, we can get this guy back on and get the rest of this taken care of, which is mostly just going to be the connectors and running the wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do all that real quick. We got the radiator mount back on and all the wires connected to it, but because it's getting so late, I think I'm just gonna save this for either tomorrow night, so it might still be nighttime, or tomorrow day. Yes, indeed, we've got sunlight. Don't mind the fact that there are two transmissions right there. You'll probably see those in the background. That'll be explained in a later video, unfortunately. Yes, but indeed, we got to get this done. This is the day before the race, so we've got to get this finished so we can get it loaded up on the trailer in, well, not too long. So let's get on it. Okay, so I'll torque those down later when the car's on the ground. We're gonna go ahead and put this on. It's one 8mm. Actually, it's two 8mm bolts, but mine was missing one when I took it off, so it's one 8mm bolt. Alright, so with all that taken care of, the next step is obviously going to be putting on the bumper, connecting the fog lights, which I decided not to delete because I have no way of blocking off the space that the fog light would have been in. So we're going to be keeping those. You may notice there is something missing right here. That would be this unit for my windshield washer fluid. I have decided that this is going to be officially deleted. I am not going to repurpose this like I have seen some people do. I was considering it, but I'm not going to. I will give you the weight of that whole thing along with the fan that we have removed in this video, just so that we know the overall weight, but it will be with the fluid because I have not used any of the fluid in this. It's the same fluid that was in the car from the beginning, so this is weight that I have been running unnecessarily. Now, as a quick note before I even get into this, two of these wires here were for the pump for the windshield washer fluid. One of them was unused, and then the last one's for the fog lights. So I'm just going to tie up the wires that I'm not using so they're out of my way, and then only leave the one I need. go. Front end is fully back on. It's hard getting the lights perfectly realigned after having taken them off. If any of you guys have tips for that, let me know. I've done my best to make sure there's no air gaps going into the engine bay, because airflow is the most important part of racing. You got to make sure the air goes where you want it. The only thing left for me to do is I have to figure out which one of these tires is going to go on which wheel here. Got to get all the wheels on, got to get it back on the ground. I've got to torque down my sway bar at the front while it's on the ground, and then I have to get this back on, which I'll do by jacking it up after I've torqued down the sway bar, and it'll be ready to go in the trailer. There it be. I am starved. I think I'm gonna go inside, have some dinner, and then get this loaded up for the race tomorrow. But that more or less cuts it for this video. We got the car ready to race. Hopefully we're gonna do good. We got it done literally just in time. Could not have gotten it done any later. So the next step's obviously gonna be getting it in the trailer, but anyway guys, this was pretty exhausting. I have been so slammed, and unfortunately the Yukon transmission swap didn't go so well, but like I said, I'll explain that one later. So yeah, it's been 3 weeks of just non-stop exhaustion. I am ready to relax, but I've got a race before I can do that. If you want to see us take this thing on the track and you want to see the races coming up, it is the biggest one of the year. Go ahead and subscribe. We've got a lot more content coming with both this vehicle, getting that Yukon running, not that, that's the borrowed truck that I'm using this weekend, as well as a lot of other stuff. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.